Hello, sweet friends. This is your Monday ELA lesson. Remember, once you complete this ELA lesson in Nearpod, you will get 10 bonus. Well, I can add 10 extra points to your lowest ELA grade. And if your lowest ELA grade isn't worth a full 10 points, I can add those points across two of your lowest ELA grades. So ELA grades. So do the work. It's worth it. All right. So this is your warm up. These paragraphs are from a story Henry wrote about helping his aunt. Read Henry's paper and look at the corrections he should make. Then answer the questions that follow. Once again, pay close attention to what the question is asking you to do. Let's look at the question. Select the response that corrects the spelling mistake in sentence 6. Now, should you read the entire story? Yes. Is that the most effective use of our time? Probably not. I'm going to read the story one time, but always read the questions first. So the questions say, select the response that corrects the spelling mistake in sentence 6. And then the second question is, what changes, if any, should be made to sentence 7? All right, so here is the passage. We finished putting up the last garage sale sign and went back to the car. I was happy we were done for the day. The storm was getting a lot stronger. It was so windy. I heard my aunt yelling at me, so I turned around. I could see Aunt Jen's lips moving, but I couldn't hear the words coming out of her mouth. She pointed at the trunk. I didn't know what she wanted. Aunt Jen came running back to the car just as the rain started. I wanted the duct tape to fix the broken sign, she said, but it looks like the storm is going to shut down our garage sale. Anyway. So, the first question you're going to do, you're going to go to sentence 6. Here's sentence 6, and it says, select the response that corrects the spelling mistake in sentence 6. So, I could see Aunt Jen's lips moving, but there are 4 different spellings for couldn't. Which is the correct spelling? Because if you look at, I could see Aunt Jen's lips moving, but I couldn't hear the words coming out of her mouth. Couldn't is not spelled correctly in sentence 6. So you need to find the correct spelling for it. And then the second question you need to answer is, what change, if any, should be made in sentence 7? So go to sentence 7. She pointed at the trunk. I don't know what she wanted. Read your answer choices and identify what change, if any, should be made. Once again, my name is Miss Smith. My email is tsmith@lsoa.org, and my number is 682-777-9474. It is Monday, December 4th, 2023. Today, we are learning how to identify text features in informational text. Why are we doing this? Great question. So that we can understand why an author uses specific text features and graphic features in informational text. We know we've got it if we can explain why an author used text features and graphic features in an informational text. So, what is a text feature? Text features present important parts of a nonfiction text in a different way. You are going to play this on your own. You're going to play this video on your own. I'm not going to play it. You will play it on your own. I've said that a million times, I know. So let's quickly go through these. So what are some of these nonfiction text features? We have the table of contents. The table of contents lists the selections of a book and page numbers for each section. And then we have the index. Index is an alphabetical list of words and page numbers where the words can be found in a text. Glossary, an alphabetical list of important words and definitions for each word. So the index in the glossary are actually all three of these things on the top. The table of contents, the index, and the glossary. In a lot of ways, people kind of like confuse them, but they're three totally different things. The table of contents you will find at the beginning of your passage. One quick second. I realized I forgot my book. Your table of contents you're going to find at the beginning of any passage, really, or any book, not necessarily a full passage. And it's going to tell you, so this is Glory of Greece. You were sent this book in your K-12 kit. And let's say you want to know a specific section about in this book. You've already read the book, but you want to know, well, I want to know a little bit more. And you want to know, like, I want to know about the great thinkers of Greece. Okay, so I'm going to go to my table of contents. That is in the first part of the book. So you have your cover page, your title, the front cover, you know what I mean? You have your cover page that gives you all that. And then on the back of that, it gives the Library of Congress stuff, all the official things. And then right here, you have your table of contents. And like I said, you want to know about all the great thinkers of Greece. Sorry. You want to know about all the great thinkers of Greece. All the great thinkers of Greece, you go to that table of contents, and it's on chapter 8, in chapter 8, page 44. And you turn right there. The index, it's going to be found in the back of the book. In a lot of ways, it is similar to the table of contents, but it gives you a little bit more detail. Sorry, I want to find the right table of contents page. So the index, in some ways, it's similar to the table of contents, but where the table of contents lists sections, like chapters, the table of content, or the index, is an alphabetical list of keywords and pages. So it gives all of the important keywords that you will find in this book or any book. So instead of just saying like great thinkers and giving you the chapter for great thinkers, it's going to say Achilles, Acropolis, Aegean Sea, Agora, Apollo, architecture. All of these are like keywords, and it's listed alphabetically, which means it's listed from A to Z. And there are all of the important keywords in a passage or in a book. So that's what an index is. It just really identifies the important keywords from this book or from any book. And then once again, your glossary is just the vocabulary words in a book or in a passage. Sorry. Well, I'm already digging through it. So your glossary is going to like give you these specific vocabulary words. Now it won't give you all of the vocabulary words for the keywords in the index, but a lot of those keywords that you will find in your index will also be found in your glossary. The one thing that's different between the index and the glossary, the one thing that's the same with the index and the glossary and the index is they're both in alphabetical order. So the glossary and the index are both in alphabetical order. The one thing that's different between the glossary and the index is the glossary gives the definition of those keywords. And the index, it does not give the definition, but it will give you the page number where you can find the clues that would help you make inferences as to what those definitions would be. Also, not all of the words that we find in the index will be listed in our glossary. All right, next, title page. The title page is a page in the front of the book that lists the title. So it's right here, the title, the author, the publishing company, all that information. So this is like our title page. So it's the title, Glory of Greece, the author, Beth Zimble and John Holleran. Um, the publishing company, so K-12 published it. And then on the back of the title page, this is still technically part of the title page, but it gives more information. That's like the cover and title page. It tells like who took the picture. Um, it also tells about more of the, while the author is Beth Zimble and John Holderan. There are some other people who like help like do the editing and things. And that's found right here on this page. Some other text features: photograph. We've talked about with a lot of nonfiction text, the photograph will be, you will find photographs instead of illustrations because nonfiction means it's real. So you want to have a photograph instead of an illustration. Because it really implies that it's real. Now, there are going to be times, even like in this book, where it would be better that there is an illustration, or they put a painting. Like, well, if that's a painting, it's not necessarily an illustration, but still, the author will choose to put an illustration instead of a real picture, just because it's maybe the real pictures that we have, or we don't have any real pictures of something because it was destroyed a long time ago. So we have to go to an illustration. So the next one right here is illustration, a hand-drawn image that helps the reader to visually understand the information. Close-up, a closer look at an image to help readers see something more in depth. So if you think back to last week when we were doing the passage about classifying animals, and in the last day we added the pictures, and there was a picture of we were talking about animal coverings, and there was a picture of the fish and then the fish's skin because it talked about the covering. And why do you think the author chose to add the picture of a close-up of the fish's skin? And a couple of y'all, you came on the mic and shared, and you also put in chat, like, because maybe some people don't really know what that looks like. That would be a close-up, seeing like those, a closer look at it. So guide words right here in the red, words at the top of a dictionary page that lets the reader know the first and last words in a page. So if you look right here, this is a glossary. So this doesn't necessarily have the guide words. A dictionary would, and this only has like 2 pages of vocabulary words. But if you have multiple pages, you're going to use the guide words. And it just kind of helps, and especially if you have multiple like words with C's, you're going to use the guide words, because it's going to help you like narrow down what page am I going to go to. If I'm looking for a word that starts with clownfish, am I going to start on the cat page? No, I'm going to go to the CLs. Next, we have table, a visual graph that displays data using columns and rows. Then we have diagram, a visual representation that helps the reader see various parts of something. Italics, slanted words that indicate important words in a text. So if you see right here in the illustration, it's right here, temperature is kind of italicized, which means it looks like it's slanted a little bit the other way, like it's leaning to its side. That's what italics means. It looks like it's slanted and everything else is standing up straight, but italics would have it laying on its side almost. Not like flat, but just leaning over slightly, like this. And when it's an important word, like the author wants us to look at it or notice it, the author will either put the word in bold, underline it, or italicize it, which would put it, like, lean it over. A map shows location of different places, objects, or events. Timeline gives a list of important events in chronological order. And then let me do bold words. We'll do bold words first. Bold words, just like with the italics, it indicates important words in a text. They are darker than the surrounding words. So if you look right here, stingrays, skates, electric rays, and sawfishes. I've never heard of that before. I can't wait for you, because I'm sure I'm going to get emails from a lot of you after you watch this. Like, this is what that means, Smith. Those words are darker than all the other words surrounding it. So that's what a bold word means. And if the author wants to draw your eye to it, the author will either use the bold words, underline those words, or use italics again. So then we have heading and subheading. Let's look at heading first. The title of a page or the article that introduces a broad topic to the reader. So we have types of squids. So that would be your heading. So when we read a passage in class, the title of our passage would be our heading. So classifying animals would have been our heading. And then the subheadings are the title that gives more specific information about a specific section under the heading, which would be, so the heading would kind of be like an introduction to the central idea of a passage. And then the subheadings would be our supporting details that would give us the support that would hold up our central idea, so we don't fall and bonk our central idea heads. Key point right there. We don't want to fall and bonk our central idea heads. So your heading will always support your central idea, and your subheadings will always support what the central idea is about. So if you look here, the heading is types of squids. And then each of these subheadings are types of squids. So if we think back to our passage last week where it was classifying animals, and then each of our subheadings were different ways that scientists and researchers classify animals. Then we have right here bullet points, a list of words, phrases, or ideas that are related to a topic organized with dots. So you have animal groups, and then underneath there are different types of animal groups: fish, birds, amphibians, mammals, amphibians. As amphibians twice, that's funny. Sorry. So it just has it in a nice, neat, orderly pattern. And then the last one on this page is captions. So underneath a picture, a sentence that gives more information about a picture and an illustration. So you have your picture, and then underneath it, there's a sentence that explains what that picture is about. A yellow iguana sitting on a rock near the beach. And finally, we have labels, words that identify different parts of a diagram. So after you have watched, so you need to stop. After you watch this video, and then I have just gone through all of these, you are going to answer these questions. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 questions for you to answer. Then you're going to do this activity. So the directions say read the passage about giraffes 2 times. place a red check mark, right? Make a red check mark in the first box after your first read, and a green check mark in the second box after your second read. Drag the box around the title. Drag the circle around any keywords. Drag the highlights. So these are your highlights right here. Drag the highlights to the heading. And it should be subheadings. I do apologize. It should be, for the highlights, it should be drag them to the subheadings, not the headings. Put an arrow at the sidebar. This right here, it does show it's right underneath. Because when I say it's underneath the giraffe. That's not a caption. That is technically a sidebar. There isn't a box for that because we don't really cover that a lot in third grade. But just drag the arrow to the sidebar. I just told you what it is. Here, I'll even show you. Drag your arrow to your sidebar. Free point right there, guys. So do all of that and then put a star beside the photograph. So once you've read the passage twice, do all those drag and drop activities, go to the next page. And it didn't load. You guys lucked out because there are questions. I might add it after this video. If I remember to add it, there is questions and answers, and I'll remember to put the trying to remember this word. I'll remember to put the passage right here so you can just, when you do the drop down, I'll add that for the questions and answers. And then your exit ticket for today is read this and answer the questions. So with that, this is your ELA lesson for, I forgot what day it is for. I think it's Monday. If I remember correctly. Yes, for Monday. All right, Doodle Bops. I love you all. I'll see you in open office. Hasta la pasta. Bye.